Here's what's happening right now. Plenty of clouds out there today. Sunshine trying to break out, but we've got a pretty cool night ahead. We'll see how long that lasts. Coming up. Paula?
Hi, Ben. You know, a lot of people use these kinds of access cards to get into their workplace. But would you be willing to give up this for a little microchip right about there? Believe it or not, Karen, there are people right about here who are willing to do it, and lots of people are talking about it today.
Breaking news from the White House, where President Trump is trying to get his health care agenda moving again by criticizing Obamacare and the Democrats. And the most decorated swimmer in history in the center of a controversy involving a shark that was not a shark at all.
Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us for First at 4. I'm Karen Drew. We begin with breaking news from the White House, where President Trump has just wrapped up a news conference on health care. In it, he criticized Obamacare and the Democrats he blames for blocking reform bills in Congress.
The Senate is very close to the votes it needs to pass a replacement. The problem is we have zero help from the Democrats.
Meantime, this was a very busy day for the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, who spoke with members of Congress about that Russia controversy. Kimberly Gill is in the newsroom with what Kushner told a Senate committee today. Kim.
Hi, Karen. Good afternoon. Jared Kushner, who you know is married to the president's daughter, Ivanka, made an effort to be as forthcoming as possible today as he testified behind closed doors before members of the Senate Intelligence Committee. Kushner had little to say this morning when he got there. He became the first member of the president's inner circle to face questions from investigators about the Russian matter. His attorneys did release an 11-page statement to the committee. It provided details of his contacts with people involved in Russian businesses and government. In part, Kushner said, "The record and documents I'm providing will show that I had perhaps 4 contacts with Russian representatives out of thousands during the campaign and transition, none of which were impactful in any way to the campaign or particularly memorable." Later at the White House, Kushner spoke to emphasize what he told the committee.
"I did not collude with Russia, nor do I know of anyone else in the campaign who did so. I had no improper contacts. I have not relied on Russian funds for my businesses. And I have been fully transparent in providing all requested information."
That's Jared Kushner making a very rare public appearance. He will be back on Capitol Hill tomorrow to appear behind closed doors before the House Intelligence Committee. President Trump, his former campaign manager Paul Manafort, and Donald Trump Jr. have agreed to be interviewed by the staff of the House Judiciary Committee, but they will not be appearing at any public hearings. So, Karen, we will continue to keep you posted on all of the developments.
Okay, thank you, Kim.
Sure.
Here locally in Macomb Township, the 16-year-old who police say is responsible for this crash faces charges. That crash happened last month at 21 Mile Road, west of North Avenue and east of Buffet Farms Boulevard. 3 cars were involved, and as a result of that accident, several people were taken to local hospitals with injuries. The driver is being charged with 2 felony counts of reckless driving. The teen is due in juvenile court next month. Some of Detroiters might refer to Grand River Avenue as the main drag. Well, last night, a portion of Grand River was the scene of drag racing. An unauthorized block party got out of hand late Sunday and turned to drag racing on the inbound lanes of Grand River between Oakman and Livernois. No one was hurt, but police moved in and stopped the racing. Officers ticketed and towed several vehicles. The partygoers quickly disappeared. Detroit developer and billionaire Dan Gilbert often has the golden touch, but someone in his organization was out of touch in an advertisement placed on a downtown Detroit building. Take a look at your screen. The ad from Gilbert's Bedrock real estate arm asked onlookers to see Detroit like we do. But just about every face in the ad is that of a white person. Dan Gilbert took notice and quickly apologized. In a letter on Bedrock's Facebook page, Gilbert wrote, "The slogan/statement we used on these graphics was tone deaf, in poor taste, and does not reflect a single value of philosophy we stand for." The ad disappeared within a matter of hours. Time now for our first look at the forecast, and Ben, I don't know if you can say chilly, but it feels chilly out there. I guess I was used to all that humidity earlier.
Yeah, compared to last week, this is a whole different ball game, and we've been under the clouds for most of the day. You can see that some blue skies trying to break out up there, but it has really kept temperatures down. Low 70s in Metro, Ann Arbor's at 72, and look at Port Huron and Monroe, upper 60s. Plus, we've got low humidity to go along with it, and there's a noticeable wind out of the north, so it does not feel like we are in our typically warmest part of the year here in mid-July. And it will be unseasonably cool tonight. We'll talk about that in your 4-zone forecast. Sun is back tomorrow. Plenty of that in your 7-day forecast. And believe it or not, we're going to be almost completely dry through the start of next week. There's one good chance of thunderstorms, and we'll look at that, see where temperatures go from here, all in a few minutes. Karen?
All right, thank you, Ben. First at 4, we're on top of stories making headlines all around the world on your Monday. As we update the world at 4 this Monday, there are new developments in a deadly human smuggling case that's going on in Texas. A truck driver has been charged with human trafficking after 10 people died and 15 others hospitalized because of heat and dehydration inside a tractor trailer that had brought them to Texas from Mexico. The trucking company owner reports he sold the tractor trailer to a man in Mexico, and the driver was supposed to deliver the rig to a pickup point. The sad life story of British baby Charlie Gard may soon be over. The 11-month-old is terminally ill due to a genetic condition. His parents went to a British court appealing to bring him to the United States for experimental treatment, but Charles' parents have withdrawn their appeal. They say it just is too late for treatment. They will stay close to Charlie and decide soon when to remove life support. And this afternoon, an American student who is arrested in China is a free man following a week-long detention. University of Montana senior Guthrie McLean was accused of injuring a taxi driver who was roughing up his mother during a fare dispute. His release followed an agreement with Chinese authorities. They appear to be dropping those charges against him. No more passwords, no more key cards. A microchip the size of a grain of rice could actually make access as easy as a wave of our hand, and a company in Wisconsin is offering it to their workers. 50 of them have said yes to having that chip implanted under their skin. Our Paula Tutman explores the story that has so many people talking today. Paula.
Karen, this actually happens to me a lot. I can't find my card access key to get in from the garage into the studio. So I basically stand in this vestibule like a puppy, locked outside, or I kick the door in hopes that the receptionist hears me or somebody actually walks by. Oh, hey, Freddie, how are you? Even better yet, somebody walks in behind me. But what if my hand literally became the key? And here's another question. What would George Orwell say? Larissa gets it. She works at CompuWare, and she jumps through a whole lot of hoops to get into her office space.
We have a badge, and you have to have both the key card and your badge to get in. You slide when you go into the parking lot, slide to get into the building, and then slide when you're all the way into the building past the security. Okay. So you have to get in, and then when you get to your floor, slide in again.
Asked if she would be willing to be microchipped for workplace convenience, and she said, heck yeah.
And this way I can slide, and it's me. No one else has my hand.
But not everyone is on the technology bandwagon.
I don't feel like anyone should be monitoring every one of my steps all day long.
What about when you leave the office, stuff like that?
This is science fiction stuff. We saw it in the remake of The Manchurian Candidate.
Somebody put an implant inside me. I found it this morning.
Jeff Inglesby, Chief Information Security Officer for Flexible Plan Investments in Bloomfield Hills and former Director of the Cybersecurity and Intelligence Department at UD Mercy, weighs in.
Great for animals, great for shipping containers, knowing where they are, when they're shipped, when they leave a port. Not so great for humans.
He believes the very concept is rife with danger in terms of what information is being gathered and how it's being used or could be used in the future.
If you require this chip to be waved over some kind of a reader every time you enter different parts of the building, if the reader is on your keyboard, they know when you're at your seat, they know when you're not at your seat. Anytime information about a person is taken automatically and put someplace, we need to be really careful about the privacy of that person and the ability of an attacker to get that information. When it comes to and chipping humans, the #1 concern should be privacy.
You know, our cyber expert also cautions that procedure and legislative oversight has not been put in place right now that can control what employers gather, how they gather it, where that information goes, and how they use it. Indeed, my partner, Matt Wilson, and I found lots of early adopters who were willing to take this chance, but most of them said, you know what? I'm going to stick with this because, as usual, technology has outrun the rules. Karen?
I think I agree with them. Sometimes old school is the best school for some folks. All right. Thank you, Paula. Still ahead, first at 4. What a difference a year makes. Last July, Michael Phelps could do no wrong at the Olympics, but his latest race is drawing a lot of harsh criticism. We'll talk about that. Plus, why it may not be such a good idea for teen athletes to focus on just one sport.
Will coming up all new on Local 4 News at 5 and 6.
She made a change to her apartment, one that could save her life. But then what her landlord did took her by complete surprise.
I feel like she's trying to evict me, and I don't think it's fair. For what? For a door lock?
Now Help Me Hank investigates. We're live tonight at 5:30.
All right, thank you, Hank. In good health, specializing in one sport may not really benefit young athletes. Many parents and coaches encourage kids to focus on one sport so they can play in high school, college, or who knows, even the pros. But a new study finds focusing on a single sport at a young age does not increase the likelihood of an athlete achieving elite status. In fact, only 22% of professional athletes say they would want their own child to play just one sport. Specialization can also increase the odds of getting hurt. Athletes who played more than 60 games within their sport in 1 year had an 85% higher risk suffering a knee, ankle, or leg injury. Something to think about there. A new warning: if you or someone in your home takes dietary supplements, poison control centers are getting an increasing number of calls related to these products. 70% of the calls involved kids under the age of 6. Most of them were exposed accidentally. The most dangerous supplements were botanical and cultural medicines, also those energy drinks. Experts caution parents to be more vigilant about not leaving those products in the reach of children. Today, the cast of the movie Detroit toured the city beyond promoting the movie. They're helping Detroit celebrate its 316th birthday by joining in charitable efforts and visiting local shops, including the Detroit Water Ice Factory. The Detroit Water Ice Factory was opened by Mitch Albom, as you recall, to raise money to help fund his charity, Say Detroit, to help the cause. Detroit cast members gave away free water ices I should say, for the first 316 people. Albom talked about how he believes giving back to the city is a big attraction.
Our desserts and our water ice are fantastic, but when people find out that we give all our money away and we give it right back into the city, right where they are, they end up ordering like 2 and 3 and 4 and leaving money.
I love that. Well, at the event, Detroit cast members also gave away free tickets to the film's premiere, which lots of folks are talking about. And Ben is back. So how long is this weather going to last?
Well, Karen.
I know. It's like once it changes, you just feel like it's so cold.
Yeah, it was a nice break for the air conditioners today, but you'll need to start running those things again for much of the upcoming.
So summer's not gone.
Not completely, no. Those clouds really kept temperatures down. In fact, right now the warmest spot we've got is 74, and that's in Pontiac. We'll probably see these numbers spike just a little bit as the clouds are starting to move out. But compared to yesterday, what a switch. Double digits cooler in a lot of locations, including Metro Airport, 10 degrees cooler, and especially out here towards Port Huron and Monroe, 13 degrees cooler than what we were seeing on Sunday at 4 o'clock. Now, the numbers will get warmer as we get through the rest of the week, and you can see on the satellite image, those thicker clouds that we've had for most of the day are on their way out. There's just a few cumulus clouds hanging out in our north zone, and as that dry air pushes further south, we will start to see a little bit more sunshine going into the evening hours tonight. The model's putting a couple raindrops out here on the map, and I just don't think that we're going to see those. But as we get later into tonight, becoming mainly clear, and that's going to lead to a beautiful start to tomorrow morning. A lot of sunshine at 7 a.m., but also some very cool temperatures that we'll look at in your 4-zone forecast in just a minute. Going into the afternoon, though, we hang on to the sunshine. That's going to help boost numbers in the afternoon, so we're getting right to 80 degrees. We'll keep the humidity low. Probably one of our most comfortable days of the upcoming forecast. But here's how things are going to look tomorrow morning. We'll start out in the upper 50s here. These will be some of the warmest numbers, and that's still below average by about 5 degrees. 59 in the city, 58 out by the airport. South zone temperatures generally mid-50s here, a little bit milder out towards the lake, but not by much. Some of the coolest spots are going to be out here in our west zone, and even though we've got all 50s on the map, you can see a few of these little turquoise spots showing up out there in Livingston and Genesee County. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a couple spots that show up in the upper 40s for lows by tomorrow morning, and mid-50s in our north zone is where we'll start out the day, but we will finish at 80, and that's basically because we're getting plenty of sunshine. Winds are going to remain light, and the humidity really is not going to be a problem for the entire forecast, except maybe as we get into our chance of thunderstorms here on Thursday. And you'll notice that's the only shot that we've got going forward. This is mostly sunshine, dry conditions, and except for that little spike in humidity there on Thursday, it's going to be pretty comfortable. So we get the summer sun, we get the warm temperatures. We just don't have to sweat it out like we have for seemingly the last 2 weeks. Karen?
Very much, Ben. Still ahead, it was a walk to remember. A pastor from North Carolina hoofed it all the way to Washington, D.C. for his daughter. Find out why. And up next, people don't expect to see Michael Phelps lose a race in the water, but that's not what has people so upset today over what happened this weekend. Welcome back, everybody. Time now for a look at today's top trending stories, and let's see what people are talking about this Monday afternoon. This is one of the big stories. Some of Michael Phelps fans are thoroughly disappointed. The swimming superstar did not race a real shark. Last night, during a special called Phelps versus Shark, Phelps raced a computer-generated simulation of a great white shark. The fake shark won, beating the 23-time Olympic gold medalist by 2 seconds. But given an hour of buildup, fans actually hope to see Phelps race a real shark, like this person who said, quote, Michael Phelps not racing a real shark is like being sold Kanye tickets and then watching a Kanye hologram perform. Or this person who said, the entire world thought it was going to be a real shark. I feel robbed. Or this disgruntled fan who said Phelps should take on Mario Kart if he wins. What do you think?
Only like 6 miles an hour. Sharks swim at like 25. Even if it was a real shark, he wasn't going to win.
I hear you. But I mean, it kind of was a little, I mean, they kind of were thinking what they were getting. You know, you kind of feel for the folks. Also trending, a stunning view of the Aurora Borealis from the International Space Station. This time-lapse video of the aurora was taken from 250 miles above the phenomenon, and the breathtaking views were tweeted out by NASA astronaut Jack Fisher. You can never get enough of that.
Wow.
The state of Maryland is launching a 2-year pilot program, and it is about the effectiveness of digital driver's licenses. The project, which would put a driver's license on a smartphone instead of a wallet, will involve some 400 Maryland state employees. The licenses will be honored at a select number of businesses. Maryland state spokesman says the digital licenses would be more secure because they would provide less personal information than what's available on printed licenses. Plus, I wouldn't lose it, but you know.
But you never know who's watching.
That's the whole point. It's like what Paula's story is. Like, how much do you want to do for convenience? A North Carolina pastor walks to Washington, D.C. to raise awareness for Medicaid benefits. It took him and his family 18 days to walk 370 miles to reach the Capitol. The pastor says he wanted to raise awareness for people with disabilities, including his daughter. He says without Medicaid, his daughter would not be alive.
Started walking to raise awareness as a daddy because I love my baby. You know, she can't walk and she can't talk and she can't stand up, so I figured I would do it for her.
Today, the pastor is sitting down with North Carolina Senators Tom Tillis and Richard Burr for a meeting. Next here at 4, a roll of toilet paper doesn't inspire much imagination for most of us, but wait until you see what a woman from Metro Detroit made with this.
We're gonna have an ambulance come and take a look at you, all right? Just stay. No. You're good. Don't push me. Get back. Brian? No, you stay out here. Give us emergency traffic.